So to start with, I would like to express our condolences to the family of the 5 children who died in the very painful accident in Al-Mafraq this afternoon. We have them and their families in our prayers. Yesterday, we announced a number of industries, industrial, commercial, and service industries that will be allowed to restore their activities as of Tuesday. As for how the permits for these industries are going to be issued, it will be through applying through the platform stayhome.jo. They will submit electronically the data about the enterprise and the business owner. This data will be verified through the company control department and the civil status department and the social security corporation. We're going to announce the method of issuing the permits in details on the different media channels and on our website. We stress that the enterprise and the workers in that enterprise need to be registered with the Social Security Corporation, and that is the basic thing according to which permits are granted to the industries that are allowed to resume their businesses and their activities. Based on the feedback that we received, the Social Security Corporation shall launch tomorrow an electronic platform that allows enterprises that are not covered with the Social Security, it allows them to apply to have their staff covered with the Social Security, the Jordanian and the non-Jordanian staff. This will be done electronically without them having to check with the departments, with the branches of the Social Security Corporation, and there will be direct linkage to the system of filing for a movement and travel permit that will be done through the registration with the Social Security Corporation platform. It's important that the enterprise uses electronic payments in its transactions with citizens and with its staff members in order to make sure that the health of citizens is maintained. And there will be teams throughout the governorates who will train these enterprises on how to start electronic wallets as of the current week, as of this week. Now, as for the remarks received and the feedback received in relation to the permits for emergency cases and medical emergencies, we are going to increase the number of permits that we issue on daily basis up to 10,000 permits, and we're going to intensify control over their use and to ensure that the applicants have actually used them for the purposes they declared. And this also applies for banks, as we're going to grant 10,000 permits, 24-hour permits on daily basis. And as for the students and the Jordanian visitors and Jordanians who have not been able to come back to Jordan, the number of applications to the electronic platform of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is 23,000 applications till this afternoon. The first stage of registration is going to end at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and then afterwards we're going to start classifying and counting the applications, and that will be according to the announced priorities, and that will end by Thursday, April the 23rd. The countries from which the flights are going to be arranged, the countries will be decided according to the conditions of the said countries and according to the numbers of our students there. And we're going to ensure that we will have varied countries from which we will bring our students. And we're going to be very clear and transparent about our priorities. And we stress that the priority of return is going to be for the students as decided by the ministry. And before we conclude, the Minister of Public Affairs of the Minister of Public Works, Housing and Public Works is going to be with us in order to tell us about how the industry is going to resume their activities. May God protect you. May God protect your health and that of your family. And may God protect the leadership and the whole humanity from this pandemic. We are at your service and we only succeed through your commitment. Thank you very much. And through your compliance. The Minister of Public Works, in the name of God, in implementation of the instructions of His Majesty the King, who instructed the government to allow for the different economic industries to resume their activities in order to push for more activities in the economy, in order to strike the balance between the economic plans and health. The Ministry of Housing and Public Works has developed a plan to restore activities in the industries of housing and public works in a manner that gives job opportunities for per diem workers. This aims at activating and motivating the works industries and helping it avoid some of the drawbacks that were created by this crisis, and developing a plan to sustain this industry and allow it to recover after this crisis. You see, the housing and works industry is very much related to many other industries which are going to benefit from the restoration of the economic activity. This will create job opportunities for many people that will be created through these projects. Now, the Ministry of Housing over the past weeks the Ministry of Housing restored some of the projects, including the desert highway, the bus between Amman and Zarqa, the ER hospital at Bashir, and two others. And by the way, we are very compliant with the requirement of the Ministry of Health and the requirements of the Ministry of Labor in Manual 11 and 12. Now, we have started to receive applications for by businesses who wish to resume their activities, and we measure the extent to which they comply with the requirements of the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Housing. The public projects, the tenders that are decided by the government according to the standards of resuming gradual restoration of work in a manner that considers the health requirement and the construction projects in the private sector. Next week, we're going to resume the activities of the projects that meet the following requirements. The achievement rate should be no less than 90%, and then gradually resume the projects with less achievements. The area per worker should be no less than 40 square meter. The Jordanian workers should be no less than 75%. The activities to be implemented should be submitted, and the time frame for the implementation should be submitted. The site of the location of the construction site, and the submitting a certificate of COVID clearance for all workers, and the business should be compliant with all regulation, and it should comply with the curfew requirement. As for the engineering and consultancy industry, the staff should not be no more than 25% of the original staff, at a minimum of 3 workers. The area in the office per worker should be no less than 15 square meter per worker. The application shall be submitted via email to the Ministry of Housing and Public Works with the names of staff in order to have their permits issued. I'd like to mention that this plan is has been developed in participation between the private and the public sector, and we have agreed on that with the Professional Association of Engineers and the Association of Contractors and the Association of Investors in the housing sector. and the Association of Consultancy and Engineering Offices. May God protect Jordan and its Hashemite leadership and its people, and we hope that this will be, and every bad thing, and this too shall pass. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. There have been 6 cases of recovery in the kingdom. 3 of them are in the Founding King Hospital, and 2 in Prince Hamza Hospital, and 1 in Queen Alia Hospital. There have been no cases of COVID-19 contraction in the kingdom, but at the borders, Al-Amari borders, there have been 8 cases of COVID-19 diagnosed for drivers, lorry drivers. 3 of them are Jordanians and 5 are foreigners, and we are dealing with them as per the established protocol. And therefore, the number of number of COVID-19 cases are the number of COVID-19 cases are 425 if we counted the 8 cases I've just mentioned. I would like to stress and mention to everybody who is following social media and who's following different international journals that many research papers are issued here and there. All of them are just research paper. Many are not evidence-based. None has been proven yet. And that can cause a problem in the public opinion, especially when read by the non-specialists. And we, in the Epidemic Committee and the Ministry of Health, and in cooperation with the Royal Medical Services and the universities, we are following up these research papers and very closely. And anything that can be applied in Jordan, we will apply it and use it once its efficacy and effectiveness has been proven, and once it is officially licensed by the entity that issued it. However, till the date, none of the treatments mentioned have been licensed. I can say that we have 280 treatments, medications discovered and invented by Jordanian youth. We are checking them and they are causing some disturbances. So just imagine what's happening on the international level. Let's leave that to the specialists in epidemics who can better assess the situations and these propositions, and they have the better experience that enable them to deal with such proposals. May God protect you, may God protect your health and the leadership of this country, and peace be upon you.